96.9 WBZH and 101.1 WHSM, Hayward's home for real news and great conversation. Here's your Daily News Roundup.
For WBZH and WHSM News, I'm Maddie Schaefer. Governor Tony Evers has appointed a Hayward woman to a statewide board focused on preventing child abuse and neglect. According to the Sawyer County Record, Kathleen Mullally, Executive Director of Northwest Connection Family Resources in Hayward, will serve as a public member of the Wisconsin Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Board through May of 2029. State officials say Mullally brings years of experience working with children and families in Northwest Wisconsin. The board works with organizations across the state to support programs aimed at strengthening families and preventing child abuse and neglect through education, funding, and community partnerships. For more information about the Wisconsin Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Board, visit preventionboard.wi.gov. You can also find more information about local family support programs through Northwest Connection Family Resources at wisconsinchild.org. Wisconsin health officials say emergency room visits related to tick bites are running higher than normal early this spring, raising concerns about another active year for tick-borne illnesses across the state. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services says warmer temperatures and a mild winter may be contributing to the increase by allowing more ticks to survive and become active earlier in the season. Officials say the combination of early warm weather and more people spending time outdoors has likely increased the number of encounters with ticks already this spring. The Department of Health Services is encouraging residents to take precautions when spending time outdoors, including wearing long sleeves and pants, using insect repellents containing DEET or picaridin, and checking clothing, pets, and skin for ticks after returning inside. Officials say symptoms of tick-borne illnesses can include rashes, fever, headaches, fatigue, and joint pain. Anyone who develops symptoms after a tick bite is encouraged to contact a healthcare provider. More information about tick safety and tick-borne illnesses is available through the Wisconsin Department of Health Services website. The Democratic Party of Sawyer County and the Lac-Courte Reservation will hold a grand opening later this month for their new headquarters in Hayward. The event is scheduled for Wednesday, May 27th from 2 to 4 p.m., with a ribbon-cutting ceremony planned for 3 p.m. The new office is located on County Highway B near the intersection of Highway K between Kuby's Coffee and the LCO Credit Union. Organizers say the office will serve as a local resource for voter registration information, election procedures, and information on federal, state, and local candidates ahead of the 2026 election cycle. Volunteers will also provide information on ways residents can help with voter outreach and upcoming elections. The office will initially be open Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., with additional hours expected to be added later. Organizers are inviting community members to attend the grand opening, meet neighbors, and discuss issues ahead of this year's elections. The Lac-Courte Ojibwe University is preparing to make history next month with a major milestone for emergency medical training in Wisconsin. On June 6th, the university will host the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians exam, marking the first time the national certification test has been offered through a tribal EMS training center in the state. According to a press release, the university became an EMS training center in 2024 and is currently the only tribal institution in Wisconsin offering this level of emergency medical education. Since the program launched, the university has trained more than 50 emergency medical responders and several EMTs who are now serving with local fire departments, police agencies, and healthcare providers across the region. University leaders say the event reflects growing healthcare training opportunities in tribal communities and ongoing efforts to strengthen the region's emergency services workforce. For WBZH and WHSM News, I'm Maddie Schaefer. Now a look at Northwoods News. I'm Maddie Schaefer. A northern Wisconsin fish hatchery will remain in operation after action by the state legislature's Joint Finance Committee. According to a press release, the committee unanimously approved a motion from State Senator Romaine Quinn aimed at continuing operations at the Brule State Fish Hatchery. The move comes after the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources said ongoing deficits in the state's fish and wildlife account forced the agency to reduce stocking quotas for muskie, walleye, and trout out and suspend operations at the Brule hatchery. Quinn criticized the DNR's handling of the situation, saying the department already has the funding needed to continue fish stocking and should restore planned cuts. The Brule hatchery plays a major role in raising and stocking fish for waters across northern Wisconsin and is especially important for anglers and tourism in the region. Quinn says the committee's vote sends a message that lawmakers intend to keep fish stocking programs in place despite the proposed reductions. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is reminding residents to be bear aware this spring as black bears emerge from their winter dens. As temperatures warm, bears across Wisconsin are becoming more active, searching for food and sometimes wandering into neighborhoods. While they're typically found in northern Wisconsin, sightings in southern parts of the state have been increasing in recent years. Experts say a bear's strong sense of smell often leads it to human food sources, making prevention key to avoiding conflicts. Officials recommend never feeding or approaching bears and securing garbage, recycling, and any food sources around your home. They also say bird feeders should be removed when bears are active and pet food should not be left outside. If you do encounter a bear, stay calm, make loud noises, and give the animal a clear escape route. Never run or turn your back. For ongoing issues with nuanced bears, residents can contact USDA Wildlife Services. The DNR says taking simple precautions now can help keep both people and bears safe this spring. For Northwoods News, I'm Maddie Schaefer.
With Civic Media News, I'm Terry Miller. A major tax and spending deal in Wisconsin has fallen apart after failing in the state Senate. Lawmakers let the bill go to a vote last night without enough support, and it failed 15-18, ending the special session. The plan had already passed the Assembly and included tax breaks on tips and overtime, along with funding for schools and property tax relief. Governor Tony Evers blamed a small group of lawmakers from both parties for blocking what he called a bipartisan deal. In a statement, Evers said some politicians chose the next election over helping families. 8 people tied to a fentanyl drug ring in Green Bay are now headed to prison after a federal investigation uncovered a large operation moving pills across the Midwest. Prosecutors say the group brought in hundreds of thousands of fentanyl pills, many bought in Arizona and sold in Wisconsin for huge profits. The longest sentence went to Ricky Chambers, who got 17 years after a jury found him guilty. Investigators say they seized more than 175,000 pills and found the group showing off cash and luxury items online. A former hot dog plant in Madison could soon be cooking up something very different: nuclear fusion research. A company called Rialta Fusion is looking at the old Oscar Mayer site on the city's east side as a possible home for a new research and development facility. The project could bring up to 200 jobs and more than $500 million in long-term investment. City leaders say the plan could turn an empty property into a major economic boost. The company is expected to choose between 2 sites as early planning moves forward. More news can be found at civicmedia.us.
The Brewers lose to the Padres. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports Baseball. Milwaukee's Jacob Mizorowski had another brilliant performance, retired 14 batters in a row, thrown 40 pitches at least 100 miles an hour through 7 innings. But in the 9th, with the Brewers hanging on to just a 1-0 lead, Milwaukee closer Abner Uribe gave up a 3-run homer to Gavin Sheets, and the Padres beat the Crew 3-1. Pat Murphy.
Yeah, 3-2 walk, single off the glove of our second baseman, and then hanging slider. It's Major League Baseball. The guys are capable. Hats off to Sheets. Great swing. Did it in the clutch.
After the loss, Uribe asked, did he leave the ball too high in the strike zone, and just how frustrated was he?
I think that you see what happened over there. We're never going to know what happened to the strikeout or whatever happened.
The 2 teams wrapping up the series today. Football, NFL schedules out tonight. The Packers will play L.A. on Wednesday, November 25th against the Rams the night before Thanksgiving. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Mostly sunny and a little breezy here today. We'll get to around 73 for a high this afternoon. Tonight, windy, mostly cloudy, an isolated shower or thunder shower possible with a low in the low to mid-50s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, and it'll be windy again with a high right around 83. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable.
That's your Hayward News Roundup from WBZH and WHSM. Find more news anytime at WBZH.FM/news. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts.